Web push notifications. To access the Web push notifications panel, we have to go to the left sidebar and choose the Web push option. In here, we'll be able to both create an agreement to send the web pushes, as well as the web pushes themselves. Let's start by creating a sample agreement form first. In this creator, we'll be able to create a sample agreement form so that your contacts visiting the site can choose whether or not they want to receive notifications from your website. Once we pick an agreement form name, as well as a tag that will be assigned to all the contacts that will agree to receive web pushes, we can choose different settings for when the form will be displayed. We can display the form again after somebody has declined the agreement after a certain amount of time. The agreement form appearance interval changes when exactly the form appears, when the customer first visits the website. It can be after a certain amount of visits or views. Keep in mind those two terminologies are different. Multiple views can be lumped together into a single visit, as long as the views are not more than 3 hours apart. Show agreement form with a time delay allows your visitors to browse through the website before they see the agreement blocking their view. The maximum amount of time is 10 minutes. Keep in mind, you always have our handy tour guide to guide you through the process as well. Moving on to the next stage, we'll get to creating the visual style of the agreement form. On the right hand side, you have the preview of what the form would look like, as well as, on the left side, each corresponding field so you can edit it in real time. As you create your agreement form, you have the option to preview your agreement form live in your browser by clicking on a Preview in Browser button. This should give you a rough perspective on the size of the final form of the agreement form. Once we proceed to the bottom of the page, we have the confirmation window. In here, we're able to edit the pop-up message that will be displayed if a contact chooses to agree to receive web pushes from our domain. On the next stage, we will receive our custom generated code for this specific agreement. This code has to be inserted below the monitoring code on your website, however, still included in the script brackets of the script type function. Now, let's go back to creating an actual web push notification. To create a new web push notification, we have to click on Add New Web Push Notification on the right hand side. First, we are prompted, of course, with the name of the web push for the system. On this stage, we'll be able to create the web push the same way we've made the agreement form. We'll see a live preview on the right hand side as we modify each field accordingly. As you may have noticed, we have two kinds of web pushes available: the regular web push and the rich web push. Generally, we recommend always trying to send a rich web push when possible. So we'll start with that. The difference between a normal web push and a rich web push is that rather than having text as content, we can choose to insert a secondary graphic. We can also insert emojis into the web push itself. Also, try to be mindful of the size constraints on each of the image that we are putting into the web push itself. If an image is too large, it can always be shrunk down by a creator. What's essential is that each image has the appropriate proportions and that it is always legible when shrunk down to size. The notification icon typically has a 1:1 ratio, or a square, while the notification image has a 3:2 ratio. The URL is the destination URL that a client will be directed to when they click on either of the graphics of the web push. The campaign settings for monitoring in Google Analytics will allow us to track this web push and its performance in the Google Analytics panel. Lastly, we have an option of choosing the course of action in case the web push is sent to a device that is not rich web push compatible. We can choose not to display the notification at all, or instead send a normal web push notification. Most of the settings are quite familiar, and almost identical to the options above. Let's click Next to proceed to the next stage. In here, we can select who will receive our web push. The first and most important thing is that we can only send the web push to the contacts that have agreed to receive it. Keep in mind, you can have multiple agreement forms present on your website. We can specify which specific agreement form the contact has to agree to in order to receive the web push we are sending now. Afterwards, we can choose which specific group of contacts will receive it. Identified contacts are contacts that have a contact card and are being monitored by the system. Anonymous contacts do not have a contact card in our system. All contacts will include both groups, regardless of their tags or segmentation. Select by tags will let us select identified contacts with specific tags or without specific tags. The send on date will allow us to schedule a web push in the future for certain marketing windows. We can choose the date and time of when the web push will be sent. The lifespan option will determine how long the web push will be displayed. Keep in mind, web push notifications are displayed when a contact opens their browser or turns on their mobile device. Lifespan is calculated from the send on date. If we are content with the settings, we can then send the web push. Lastly, we can analyze the effectiveness of both our agreement forms and the web pushes themselves through the web push notifications analytics on the very top of this dashboard. We can see how many notifications were displayed, how many were sent, and how many were clicked. By clicking on the bottom left, we can then switch to the analytics of the viewed and clicked agreement forms to compare their effectiveness. For more information, you can visit our support page at support.salesmanago.com.